What is going on, guys? It is Joe back again talking about the Kansas State Wildcats. Back to the basketball side of things here as K-State takes down Villanova in overtime 72-71 as the Cardiac Cats advance a perfect 9-0 record in overtime games under Jerome Tang. 3-0 in the past 3 weeks. In the last 3 games, we've had 3 straight overtime wins, and it's a great day to be a Wildcat. I am so excited to talk about everything from this game. Yet a massive 3 from Tyler Perry. We'll break all that down. But overall, guys, what a great game. What a great bounce-back win. We'll talk about all that and more in today's video. Before I do get into my specific takes, let me tell you this, guys. The best beer on the planet, if you have a guess, it's at Manhattan Brewing Company. Doesn't matter which beer. They're all incredible. But I tell you what, I know the best beer of all time. And it's right here. Tang Party. Ice cold Tang Party. To celebrate a Tang Party on the court, let me give you guys a review real quick. With the sound and all here. I mean, that's a great sound. That's beautiful. Beautiful stuff. Let me give you the taste review live on the YouTube channel of the Tang Party Manhattan Brewing Company beer, a tangerine and Cascade dry hopped sour. It is beautiful. It tastes beautiful, dare I say. Gang, that tastes equal parts tangy and heavy. Get yourself a Tang Party to celebrate. And also, I've also had a couple of questions about where to get it. Guys, go directly to Manhattan Brewing Company if you're in Manhattan. If you're in Kansas City, there's a couple of different locations. You can ask on Twitter. They're pretty responsive about that. So if you have a question about a local liquor store, otherwise go into your local liquor store and ask, hey, have you guys had anything from Manhattan Brewing Company? If they say no, politely request that. That's what I ended up doing at Reman's. They have kind of a request log you can submit, say what the brewing company is, where it's at, what beer you want, and they'll get it 9 times out of 10, they'll get it sent to you and they'll write your name down. Tang Party, it's where it's at. And it's the best way to celebrate a K-State win like tonight's. Kansas State taking down Villanova 72-71. Let's go through the box score here before I get to my specific thoughts here. You had 26, 9, and 4 from Arthur Kaluma. King Art played 44 of 45 minutes in this game. Arthur Kaluma was a man among boys. We'll talk about him here in a minute. David Gasson grabs 10 rebounds, 4 points, and an assist in this game. And also real quick, for the first time ever, or maybe not ever, but for the first time in college basketball, Esther Gasson, David Gasson's mom, made the trip to Bramlage and got to watch David play in college basketball. An awesome moment. They showed it on the broadcast. It was a cool thing to see. So shout out real quick to the Gasson family for all the great things happening there. Will McNair, 31 minutes. He had 9 points and 6 boards in this game. Then you get Cam Carter. He's Cam Carter. He's a beast. He's always going to show up. Cam, 16 points, 4 rebounds, 3 assists. Tyler Perry, while it wasn't a huge statistical night, Tyler Perry played a solid game as a pure point guard. Obviously, some people are going to complain about the shooting, but shoot, man, I'm with Coach Tang. If you go the entire game missing shots and then you hit a shot to win the game, you win the game, I'm cool with that. I'm not worried if we're winning games. Tyler Perry, 10 points, 6 assists, and 1 rebound in 41 minutes. Then you got some split minutes between Day Ames and RJ Jones. Day was 7 and 1. And then RJ Jones didn't score but did show up on the assist and stat sheet for rebounds and assists, And then he had a couple minutes out of Jerome Colbert, didn't record anything, but still had 5 minutes in the game. Specific takeaways. Guys, there was a lot we could talk about. There's a lot of things that I was thrilled watching this game, man. This is a game where, you never hit the panic reset button this fast. But after seeing Coach Tang talk about it, the vibe was really hey, the outside noise is there. I mean, people are criticizing, people are coming after the coaching staff about the players, about whatever. Coach Tang after the game, he's like, hey, it's the same reason. We went to overtime against Oral Roberts and North Alabama back-to-back, and there's a good aspect that says if we don't go to overtime in those 2 games, maybe we're not ready to handle Villanova in overtime. So it's funny that the same reason that people are like, okay, they suck because they go to overtime. Here, they're good, they're ready for the moment. That's something that I thought was really interesting, and it's one of those things where you hear people be critical, like Coach Tang being people thought we sucked. Sometimes you forget that these are actual people with actual feelings and emotions. It's not just these are just these people, these figures, these enigmas. It's easy to forget hey, they hear the stuff you say, man. They hear what you're saying. They hear the criticism. They hear all the stuff from their staff, from people, from fans. So I thought it was kind of cool that Coach Tang got to say that because he was just, straight up. He's like, the reason people think we suck for going to overtime the past 2 games helped us win this overtime game here. It did. It gave us the experience, the know-how, the knowledge, as well as practice and all the preparation. It's not just the past 2 games, but I thought that was kind of a cool moment, something to talk about. But my specific takeaways, I got to start with Arthur Kaluma. I mean, Arthur Kaluma, it kind of died down after the first game or 2, but Art got a lot of flack early in the season for people being like, is this the guy we thought he was? Is he that good? I don't know if Coach Tang and his staff really evaluated this guy. Guys, Arthur Kaluma said, knock it off. He said, shut up. Everybody that's criticizing me, knock it off, dude. You have not seen anything yet. This was the peak version of what the 5-out offense can do. Not saying it's perfect, not saying it's perfected, not saying everybody else did it. For Arthur Kaluma's standpoint, The dude maybe forced up one shot. I mean, there was one fadeaway late in the second half that I saw that was kind of forced, but it was late in the shot clock, so it makes sense. Arthur Kaluma didn't force anything. He took what the defense was giving him. He read the defense. He wasn't on some heightened sense of like, I have to attack. I have to, forward Big East stuff. We got to get after it. That wasn't the case. Art took what the defense gave him, and he was all over the scoreboard, all over the rebounds sheet. He did everything in this game. Like, I don't even want to compare him to Keontae Johnson. I know that people say that where it's like, this is the next Keontae or whatever the case is. These are all individual people. Shout out to my guy Caleb. It's kind of the argument of like everybody immediately compares Jordan Love to Aaron Rodgers. Like, hey, he looks like Aaron. Dude, just let him be Jordan Love. Let Arthur Kaluma be Arthur Kaluma. I mean, the guy didn't force anything. He's just a dominant factor in college basketball. I can see what Coach Tang would get, why Arthur Kaluma would get into the doghouse, so to speak, or why Art would kind of, need some, all right, you got to come off the bench in this one because you're not where we need you to be with the offense. You're not comfortable with it yet. And you keep trying to force things just to get things done. Some players go into that immediately where it's they force things just trying to score, or they force things trying to affect the game. They get, okay, we're not scoring, I got to take it on myself. When you can figure out your spot in the offense and just play comfortably and free, that's the type of stuff that Coach Tang envisions for this team. Arthur Kaluma was a perfect, example of that in this game, and you saw that at multiple points. I mean, the pinnacle of it was that final and one he hit right before half with super genius ball IQ from Cam Carter. Getting the ball, loose ball, instead of throwing it to Art where Art probably has to turn, dribble, that takes a whole second and a half, throws it out in space where Art can go run over, and then converting it. I mean, the dude is so lethal at finishing around the rim. Super smart play by Cam Carter, super great athletic finish from Arthur Kaluma, and then hitting your free throw, man. That makes every basketball diehard happy. You convert the N1 right before half. You miss that, it's like, dang. Well, it's still a great bucket, awesome to see. Converting that gives K-State an 8-point lead heading into halftime over the number 18 team in the country. That was a great thing to see. Arthur Kaluma is going to be a legit NBA prospect for he's got so much. My brain tells me a Pascal Siakam combination. Like, he's got so much of that mid-range game, attack range, lethal from three when he needs to be. He's got a lot of that stuff in his game, and I'm just excited to see him develop. When these guys, get criticized sometimes, or it's like hey, you have to buy in more. That can really set you back mentally or confidence-wise. Not just having a good game gets you right on the right path, but seeing, okay, hey, this dude's not crazy. Like, he's not trying to take all the things that I do well and put them away and then make me play as him. Like, Coach Tang talked about it last year with Marquise Noel. It's learning to see the game the way he wants to see it and the way Marquise wants to see it. That's this period where Art's at right now. Art is starting to realize what Coach Tang wants. Coach Tang's starting to realize, like, okay, this is what Art does well. I'm not going to force him to do this thing, this thing, this thing because I know that he can be lethal and affect the game this way. Down the stretch, also, he probably won't get credit for it because it didn't show up on the box sheet, but had some really solid defense down the stretch to end regulation and overtime. So Art, man, what a day for Arthur Kaluma. This was an absolute, hey guys, I'm him. I am absolutely this dude. Check me right now. This is me. I'm an NBA guy. Everybody should be watching me. Also, shout out, there's 10 different NBA scouts in attendance for this game. That's a big statement to make. You put up 26 points against the top 20 team in the country. Shout out to Arthur Kaluma, man. That dude is a dog. D-O-G, D-A-W-G, whatever you want to say. That dude is a beast. Will McNair, man. Let me talk about big Will McNair. Will McNair is a fan favorite. He has quickly become one of my favorite dudes to watch. Seeing the dude have a crazy play that I'm like, how do you do this at your size? How do you move like this? And then he's turned around with the biggest, goofiest smile. He's having so much fun. And I know that, haters will criticize Coach Tang and the staff for being like, Jerome Tang basketball is just having fun, and the team that has the most fun wins. Dude, you see that with Will McNair. You absolutely see it with Will McNair. Not only has he become this fan favorite, awesome dude, but he does things that are an absolute enigma at his size. The steal in open space and then Euros around two dudes could have gotten the and one there, lays it up and in. You see how he can affect the game. When his confidence is high, and I know that's what Coach Tang's working on with him, or maybe I don't know, but that's just what it seems like the writing's on the wall there. If you get his confidence high and it's like, okay, don't worry about the bad plays, I'm focused on the next right thing. That's their saying is tough people do the next right thing. As Will McNair gets that figured out, that dude is going to be such a game changer for K-State. How about this moment? Because this one might be a little bit more personal to me for no reason, but it felt like I was really sentimental. Not like I was crying. I wasn't listening to Marvin's Room or just crying in the bedroom watching this thing. Watching Cam Carter put that cowboy hat on, that was a full circle moment for K-State. If you saw my tweet about it, and maybe you didn't, maybe you did, but it is so cool to see. Last year, the cowboy, the cowboy Keontae thing, cowboy Key thing, was such a funny thing to rally around. The memes that we put up with K-State, the different grainy, all this stuff, and maybe I'm looking too much into it, but seeing the team develop and take on their own personality, but also pay homage to the previous team, it's pretty damn cool. And I know what you're thinking, like, well, it's just a cowboy hat. Someone put a hat on a guy. That's all that happened here. I just think it's so cool to see the tradition of, like, jumping into the stands to Wabash with the students. Playing freaking Sandstorm. Dude, I was about to go scorched earth. I'm moving on from this thought. I was about to go scorched earth on everybody if they didn't play Sandstorm in this game. That, like, I know people are like, well, that's just music. The crowd feeds off a song. The team feeds off the energy of the crowd. That's why Coach Tang is so adamant, like, these are the best fans in America. We have to energize them. We have to get them right. They got to cheer. They got to, like, that's what gets you going. I mean, there's times in the game where K-State can't make a shot. If for some reason someone in the stands just decided, hey, let's all just get really amped right now. Hey, let's go, Cats. You get one screaming loud defensive possession, you're going to get something crazy happening. It's just the way it goes. Human nature. When people are cheering for somebody, especially your home stadium, people respond positively. I was about to, like, I don't know. I was about to drive to Manhattan myself and break into the stadium and freaking cue up the PA guy and be like, dude, play Sandstorm. This is awful. Why are we not playing Sandstorm? It's an overtime game against the number 18 team in the country. And I know there's the expect to win factor of this, but, like, there were so many points in that game where you could have played Sandstorm and the fans would have just freaked out. And the coaching staff, hey, let's go. The team, let's go. Everybody locks it in. Like, that's enough of an element. Like, we should be playing Sandstorm. I'm not saying playing it every timeout break. I'm not saying it anytime somebody gets a dunk, play it. But, like, you play Sandstorm early in regulation. That affects the game. It does down the stretch. You get the team amped up. You get the fans amped up. That's a huge part. It's the same thing with Seattle and the whole 12th man thing. Like, Sandstorm is our way. Mr. Brightside hasn't been done in a while, and I don't know that it will, but Sandstorm needs to be played in every close game. Maybe not every minute, maybe not every 30 seconds, maybe not anything like that, but if it's in the second half, you're up by 3, 4, 5 points, you need a rally. Hey, Cam Carter gets a lob or a dunk or something at the basket. Arthur Kluma's a nice Euro. Play Sandstorm. It doesn't have to be, the other team doesn't have to call a timeout for it to be a Sandstorm. There doesn't have to be some massive thing to play Sandstorm. Like, if you're needing a spark, go to Sandstorm, dude. That's what we need to see. And maybe I'm just reading too much into this, but, like, music affects the fans affect the game. Give the fans what they want to affect the game. Food for thought. PA guy, I love you for putting out that tweet. Shout out for playing Sandstorm eventually, but, like, Sandstorm should have been played a lot longer before the 3.9 second of the game. We already have it in the bag. Like, give the fans something to cheer about before then, on top of the game, and you'll see the entire energy match and rise, and people will come back for that. I mean, nobody forgets Sandstorming. With the lights out, the lights dim, like Arthur Kaluma said it in postgame, I felt like I was in a movie out there. Tyler Perry talked about it and said, this is 10 times what I expected. I expected something incredible. This is way better than I expected. I couldn't hear the coaches. Like, that is something legit that needs to happen. So, I don't know. Sandstorm, I was about to absolutely break my TV over my knee like a clipboard if we didn't hear Sandstorm. So I wanted to put that one out there. Back to the Cam Carter stuff. It was just a cool moment to see him put on the cowboy hat, kind of embrace the cowboy key role and show, like, hey, this is still my team. Like, I'm taking over into this new role and kind of spreading my wings a little bit. So, pretty sick moment for Cowboy Cam. Shout out. He's the rootinest, tootinest cowboy west of the Mississippi or whatever the case is. Also on Cam's topic, K-State's game plan. Obviously, it's easy to say this now that we're 9 games into an overtime record where we haven't lost. But in the final 3 to 5 minutes of the game, if it's a close game, and there's always one guy that's the hot hand, Cam Carter shuts that guy down or gets pretty damn close to doing it and affects the game defensively. You know, if you have a guy like like Tyler Perry, like Arthur Kluma that can just be an offensive guy, Cam can absolutely just be, all right, shutting this guy down. Somebody else is going to have to beat us tonight. That is such a great thing to have. I mean, you had that a little bit with Desi Sills last year, but there were times where, hey, he fouled out or he had something going on where he had to be offensively, couldn't, lock it in on defense all the time. Cam Carter has that hunger, dude. He's going after you on defense. Like, there's a confidence and an energy and a swagger about it. Like, Coach Tang is an absolute gem on his hands with Cam Carter. And he knows that. The staff knows that. But seeing a guy like that that's like, all right, hey, Cam, 5 minutes, I need you to lock it in. And then he just gives up, 2 points, 4 points. Maybe gives up a crappy foul down the stretch that, whatever the case is. Like, Cam Carter is a weapon on defense. He's one of the greatest two-way players in the country. I'll say it now. It's already true. But Cam Carter is that dude. Final thing, man, Tyler Perry. Fans are going to be critical because they're like, well, man, he needs to get going earlier. Dude, we're winning games, bro. We're winning games against the top 20 team in the country. People forget how hard that is to do. You can change the recipe all you want. You can say whatever you want. This isn't the best product of Kansas State basketball. We're not where we're going to be, 20 games in, 18 games in. Add another 10 games to the schedule. This team's going to know each other so much better, be clicking so much better, be in conference play. Like, you can change things. You can morph things, whatever you want. At the end of the day, guys, we won a game. Tyler Perry hit a huge shot down the stretch. He had 6 points in the first half, or whatever the case was, maybe 3 points in the first half, but still had 3 assists as well, affected it on the glass, had some good things going as well. I don't think it's so smart to always be super critical and just be like, okay, got to get Tyler Perry going if we want to win this game. Got to get Tyler Perry. Yeah, he's going to hit some of those shots where he's not thinking as hard about, hey, it's early, I got to get going. It's easy to see that it's early in the cycle still for Tyler Perry, but damn am I glad to have that dude on my team down the final 2 minutes, 5 minutes. This dude's Michael Jordan. Shout out to my guys talking about it. Like, he struggles for a chunk of time, and then he just lights it up because he's just playing, in the moment of the game. He's not worrying about, okay, I got to focus on this. He's just being Tyler Perry. That's what it comes down to, guys. And I'm stoked to see him figure that out and continue to develop. If that dude can get to the point where he's like that for 4 quarters, and I know that's unfair of me to ask because saying to be that level of a player all 4 quarters is just not fair all the time, but excuse me, not 4 quarters, but 2 halves. The basketball's weird like that. Having Tyler Perry on your team is a massive, massive deal. I am so stoked to watch him grow into this role. But guys, I will get out of here. I'm gonna stop talking. I am so excited to see this team. I love this team, dude. This is the place to be. Manhattan fans, you were great. I should have said that. Fans were incredible. For all of you that went to the game, keep going to the games, man. You guys are awesome. You knocked it out of the park. This is what Kansas State can be. Coach Tang said it. You see it in recruiting. You see it on ESPN live in front of the country. That is what it means to be a K-State fan. And thank you to everyone who was there. Enjoy the Tang Party with the Tang Party. It is delicious. It tastes like victory. That's what it tastes like today. I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your day. I'll talk to you soon. If you like K-State content, be sure and subscribe. And I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. I will talk to you soon. Go Cats.